So in this segment, we're just going to have a quick look at the FITASC mount. A lot of people are moving into FITASC, and especially with the World Championships being in the UK next year, it's something that we should all try and support. So on the FITASC mount, you can see the line on my vest here. The highest part of the stock, so if we shoot a Monte Carlo like this, the highest part of the stock has to be below the line until the target is visible. That doesn't mean we can hear the machine and mount. So we have to keep this below this line until the target is in the air and visible. So what happens is you place the gun, eyes go back to your viewpoint, you call pull, you wait until you see the target, then the mount can begin, and then the shot's taken from there. So first of all, let's cover what can go wrong during this mount. One, we have the gun too far back. So when we call pull, we have to go forward and then back. And the next one is, what people do is they slide, and this is the biggest problem with FITASC, is when you slide your mount. So when you've picked your hold point here, when you call pull, you move from this position and slide and mount on the move. You've then left your hold point. So, and that is one of the biggest problems I've seen. What I like to do is use a bayonet style mount. So as I call pull, I mount forward before rotation. So I do not move sideways until I have connection to my face. So a bayonet mount and then the rotation. One of the biggest problems also with the low gun, I'm going to need Dave to come in and just help me with this, just to explain. So is actually how we line up. If you can just stand face this way for me, Dave. Take the gun for me. So if you imagine that the hedgerow there is the line of the target, yep. Close the gun and get from your FITASC mount. So what we actually see is what a lot of people do is they mount eye, bead, line, so they've got this perfect straight line to the target's flight path. But as you can see, that actually ramps the barrel clean over the line. So when Dave mounts, he would have to drop below the line, back up, and then try and move. So he's actually going to come into the line at a small angle. That window of opportunity to break that clay is very small.
Can you explain that again, Jeff? Just go through that again for me.
So what Dave's going to have to do, if he gets the barrel, if he lines up in the triangular method, when he mounts, this hand will take lead, the barrel will dip, and then he's going to come up on an angle. So if you imagine the target's flight line is here, Dave's, when he gets to mounted, the barrel is underneath, so he's going to have to intersect. Where these two lines meet is the only possible chance of that target breaking. If he pulls the trigger too soon, he's underneath. If he pulls the trigger too late, he's high. The window of opportunity is very small. So what I like to tell, and what we're going to do with Dave now, is when you close the gun, use your two fingers to point at the line through each other, and you'll notice the barrel comes up a lot lower. So let's try that, Dave. So now we're going to the hedge. You can see Dave's fingers are pointing to the hedge. He's now perfectly in line, considerably lower than he was before. Then when you complete the mount, he lifts, he's on line, then the rotation, he's pulling away on the flight line of the target. It makes a huge difference.
How often do you see people being penalised?
The British refs are the worst. They really are sticklers for the rules. When you go abroad into Europe, they tend to be very lax. I actually got a warning at the weekend I had a warning before I started. I actually mounted the gun in the parking lot and got a warning because one of the referees is a bit of an overachiever and it gave him great joy in giving me one, so good luck to him with that. But what I'd like to see is one of the, if Dave was new to FITASC and I was a referee and Dave, just close the gun for me, Dave, and Dave just got a little bit too high, called pull, I'd let him take the shot and then just say to him, sir, just be careful with your gun mount. You know, you don't have to give a warning out all the time. If myself or one of my highly esteemed competitors creep that mount, we deserve to be told. We know the rules, we're there to win, but I believe to help the sport grow, sometimes a quiet word in the ear is a little bit more helpful than a warning.
On the white line, why have you got a white line?
All it has to be is a permanent white line. That's all they ask for. And this is a new skeet vest for me, and I didn't have one on it, so I just used Tipex. So that's all it is. That's why it's there. Dave's actually had his stitched on.
By my sister who works in a sewing factory.
So that's where we're at.
But everyone needs that line.
Has to be there, yeah. Yeah, has to be there, permanent line, 23 centimetres from the top of your shoulder. So I'm just now going to demonstrate the sliding mount, which for me is bad, and then also the bayonet mount, which is for me the way we should be mounting the gun from that FITASC line. So we're going to be shooting quite a good way out, crossing bird from right to left. I've picked my hold point as above this brick building here. So if I go to that hold point now, as you can see, my barrel is running through my fingers to the height. My eyes are back on the viewpoint. Now on this one, I'm going to slide my mount, and you'll see when the gun hits my shoulder, I will have actually moved in front of this bird, and then I will have to stop moving and restart again. Pull. And you can see that was a 3 moves, and that is what I don't want. I slid across the mount, then the clay was back here at the hold point. I stopped and had to retake the shot. Fortunately, I broke it, but I'm borderline there when I can do that consistently for a miss. So what I'm going to be looking for now is a bayonet mount. At my hold point, everything's going to go forward, and I'm going to get to the hold point at the same time as the clay. I'm then going to connect, hold the clay before moving out to my positive lead. Okay. Pull. That felt a lot better to me. I actually killed it a lot quicker because I didn't have to put the brakes on. As I did my bayonet mount, when I hit my face, the clay was right on the end of the gun. When I'm moving with it, I'm learning its speed, I'm learning its line before I rotate out to my pre-planned positive lead. They're your 2 different mounts. If you are finding yourself sliding, just make sure you try and work that left hand forward into the clay. What I try and tell my students, you know, I grew up boxing, and I jab the bird. So you see that bird coming, so you push this left hand into the target before rotation. Don't slide across that line. So once again, this will be the sliding movement. I'm at my hold point here. The target comes out, pull. I slide across, mount. I have to stop, wait for the target again before I move to my positive lead. That changed my kill point and totally mistimed the shot. I'm now guessing my line and speed. What I'm going to do this time is at the hold point, I'm going to jab into the bird. I'm going to bayonet mount first. No sideways movement before I'm fully mounted. Pull, bayonet mount, hold the clay, rotate, and take the shot. They're your 2 different mounts.
Being fairly new to FITASC, Ben, gun fit, is it paramount?
Yeah, not just gun fit, but also the balance. So you can have a perfectly fitted gun, but if you can't mount it consistently, that's also going to cause you a headache. But whilst we're talking of gun fit, I know this fit you. I fitted it.
Yeah.
So we also did the balance. So if you just mount the gun for me, I know it's empty. I'm just going to talk through the gun fit. So when I'm looking at gun fit, what I'm looking for, a lot of people talk about fingers up here and things like that. I'm not interested. What I'm looking for is complete fit on the pad here. I don't want to see this. We want this fully mounted. As you can see, Dave's got the perfect mount there. He's got 100% contact. We're looking at placement on the cheek here. We're looking at the finger length. We're looking at the finger when it goes onto the trigger. We're pulling it with the pad. We're not hooking. This is all relative to the shooter as an individual. But the key thing, what I'm looking for, is the angle of the arm here. So many people say you need to have this right up here. You know, if you've got a short neck, big chest, you are going to, just pull your head back for me, Dave. You are going to be back here. That's just how people are made. But what we do need to do is get this angle right here. We get this angle right, we loosen the triceps, we loosen the lats. Lats working down into the lower back. That is what's going to enable us to turn. And they're the 3 key factors, and also the balance. What I'm going to do is look between Dave's hands on where he holds the gun, find the middle point, and that's where I'm going to balance the gun from. Just lower it, mate, I know they're heavy. I'm going to try and balance the gun just a little bit towards being stock heavy, so we actually got the heavy end out in front. If I had the light end out in front, sorry. If I describe that to you in layman's terms, if I put a drawing pin into a wall, take a sledgehammer, take the wooden handle and hold it here with the heavy end out in front and ask you to hit that pin, you're not going to be able to do it. That's going to be everywhere. If I turn that round, put the heavy end here, I can do whatever you want with that end. And that's what I want to do with the end of my barrel. I want to be able to place it in certain places on something this big, sometimes 50, 60, 70 yards away. So gun fit is paramount. And again, you can always practice your FITASC mount at home for free. But yeah, it's a good question, and gun fit for me is very, very important.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chris.